I'm Michelle Handelman. I'm a visual artist, filmmaker, and writer. Having come up through the years of the AIDS crisis and the culture wars, I've built a body of work that navigates the dark and uncomfortable spaces of queer identity. I make large-scale moving image installations that confront the things we collectively fear and deny. Sexuality, death, desire, chaos. Using historic film and literary references, my work engages a radical critique of normative cinema, creating phantasmagoric worlds of outsized characters in which the only constant is an ever-shifting balance of power, revealing the violent beauty of queer rage, using form as my weapon. My creative capital project, Delirium, is an outgrowth of my most recent project, Hustlers and Empires, which was commissioned by SF Moment this past year. Hustlers and Empires features Shannon Funches, Viva Ruiz, and John Kelly performing a series of songs and monologues inspired by the writings of Iceberg Slim, Marguerite Duras, and Federico Fellini. It looks at transgression as a mode of survival, reflecting on the political struggle of the hustler's life, examining how identity is formed in resistance to oppression. Here's a short clip.
When you've been in pain as long as I have, you have to resist. But the pain remains a reality that wants only to see me and my queer brothers and sisters dead. And yet, I do not die. So instead of dying, I will perform for you. In this way, I preserve intact my critique of your hypocritical way of life, which has been my sole joy in the world.
Delirium, my creative capital project, will be a multi-channel video installation with live performance and 360 immersive video. I'm in the very early stages of this project, so I will be showing you visual experiments and mock-ups using footage from my previous works. In many ways, Delirium is an extension of Hustlers and Empires, rooting itself in resistance to capitalist and normalized regimes. But instead of transgression being a form of survival, Delirium envisions transgression as a form of transcendence, moving beyond narrative into the haptic experiential, pushing against while pointing out the limits of consciousness. It will be divided into 8 individual sections: the blackout, the orgy, the come down, the release, euphoria, sleep, death, control. With a cast of performers moving through smoke, light, and the digital glitch, Delirium is inspired by cultural theorist Patricia MacCormack's writings on visceral cinema, which position the physical pleasure of experiencing cinema as being inherently queer. Performers will be shot in a variety of barren landscapes, from glacial to desert, performing restrained minimal gestures in resistance to the harshness of each landscape. The installation will be structured using what MacCormack refers to as a psychic model of tension and release. and visual effects will transform the raw material into disruptive images that will act as counterpoints to one another, while live performers move through the space, acting as counterpoints to the audience. Additional scenes will be shot site-specifically for the 360 viewer so that spectators can experience a full-on audio-visual assault within the 360 view. In addition to the main installation space, there will be anechoic chambers where viewers can go for respite and release. I'll be working with my usual crew, Emmy Award-winning DP Ed David, and pioneering dark ambient musician Lustmord. We're trying to use the 360 technology not to simply present a 360 view, but to excavate equilibrium at its core. We can always turn off our screens, but Delirium asks, what can't we turn off? Is it possible to get outside one's body, to get outside time? And does being part of a subculture bring you one step closer to that edge? In addition to the creative capital support, which I am very, very grateful for, I've been awarded a Rauschenberg Foundation residency to develop this project next year, and I'm looking for other institutions who can offer production and technology support, such as MPAC and Sundance New Frontiers, exhibition and performance venues who will show the work when it's completed, publishers to collaborate with on an artist's book, which will include a cardboard VR viewer, funding in the amount of $40,000 to get me through this development phase of the project. And I want to build alliances with queer at-risk youth organizations so I can bring them into the performances and do that city by city. My hope is that Delirium will open up dialogue about outsider agency and present VR as a new subculture where queer bodies can use their outrage to break the silence and present our unruly and ungovernable selves as material for resistance. Thank you so much, Creative Capital, and thank you everyone for your time.